Game Killers.
Oh, this takes so long. Finally! Oh, we can't wait for this. Of course I wanted the latest release. This takes forever. Please. Please hurry up. I don't have all day, okay? Finally. Ugh. You're just wasting this pretty daylight time. Even though it's going, it still feels like it's an eternity. It feels like this has been as long as school. Why? Why? This takes forever. I'm about to rage quit and I haven't even begun the game. Where did my game go? Why is it up there? It's okay. It just... Oh! Dad!
What's going on, baby?
Minecraft has been crashing over and over again. Roblox is lagging so much that I can't even play it. I'm dying in murder mystery left and right, and I'm never gonna win Fortnite at this rate. Then that's probably why I'm still a normal skin. Please, can I get a new computer? Pretty please.
Well, we'll see.
Well, at least that's not a no.
Hey guys, Game Killer Daddy here, and as you can see, GameKillerAva's having a pretty rough time trying to play some games on her old PC. I'm pretty sure we've all been there at some point when our computer was old, everything lags, it takes forever to load, nothing happens like it used to. It's bound to happen over time for everybody, no matter what kind of computer you got. So what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to take you step by step for how to build your own PC. You may not want to go to like a Best Buy, Target, or a Walmart and get whatever they have on their shelf. You may want to do something special. You may want to build it yourself like I'm about to do, which typically can be cheaper and also better than what you buy at any store pre-packaged. So that's what we're going to do in this video. So before we get started, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and please subscribe and hit the bell, because what I'm going to do is as each part comes in, I'm going to do a unboxing of sorts of it, let y'all see it, what it looks like when it comes fresh with nothing in it or just that individual piece or part. So be sure and hit that bell so it'll remind you when I put out the next video. I'll also show you how long it can take to actually do this, to put one together, to buy the parts, because I'm not rich. This is not sponsored. People aren't sending me stuff. This is all coming out of my money, out of my pocket. I'm buying every piece. But if y'all would like to send something, feel free. Message me. I'd be happy to send you my address. But otherwise, this is all me. I'm doing it all by myself. So let's get going and show you what it's all about. Come on. guys, we got that done, but I made a quick list of some of the things that you might want to think about before you start making your selections, or especially any purchases. I'm going to try and quickly go over this so this video doesn't get too long. Like I said, I will go over each piece specifically, details and all that more when I order it and it comes in. I don't have any specific order. Uh, Typically, if I see something on sale, something that's high and it's on sale and I have the money, I'll probably try and get it. Otherwise, I'll just keep saving up and getting piece by piece. But anyway, the list is number one. The main thing you need to think about going in before you start buying stuff for a new PC is, are you going Intel or are you going AMD for the processor? Because you don't say, hey, I want to get one of the new Intel CPUs and then be browsing around and end up purchasing this bad to the bone motherboard, and you don't really realize that it's for an AMD processor, maybe a new Threadripper. So you have to be sure what you're going to buy. If you're going to buy Intel CPU, you need to make sure you buy Intel motherboard. And as soon as you figure out which one you're going to buy, you need to make sure that you buy the motherboard that is the same socket as the CPU that you want. I usually start off with the CPU. I find the one I want, whether it's Intel or AMD. I'm going all AMD this time. I've already done the Intel build. That's what I'm on now, and it's rocking and rolling still. But you need to know whether it's socket 1151 or 2066 if you're Intel, or is it an AM4, or is it one of the new Threadripper sockets. So you kind of need to figure out what that is first. The second one is the size of the case. Do you have a lot of space? Can you get a super tower, which always makes it easier to put parts in. Any tech hates getting in this tiny little cramped up case packed with all this stuff. You get cuts and scrapes everywhere, and it's just a huge hassle. But if you don't have much room and that's what you need, then you make sure you get the motherboard that'll fit in it. You don't want to get a mini case and then get like a Super ATX motherboard that won't fit in a mini case, and a really long video card that won't fit either. So that's just something to keep in mind. The next thing is, how many devices are going to plug into the back of this thing? So that means for the motherboard, how many USB open slots does it carry on the back? Some have a lot, some don't have very many at all. Which that means you end up having to get a USB hub. Are you okay with getting all USB 1s? Or nowadays everything's at least a USB 2. How many of those do you need? Do you need a USB 3 or 3.1, a USB-C? Do you need a Thunderbolt on there? Do you need a HDMI? Which you probably shouldn't, because we plan on getting a video card. That's something else. That's probably in the list, whether you're getting a video card or not. So if you need a motherboard that has a video out on the back, you have to keep that in mind too. That will decrease the overall price because you're not spending money on a decent video card, but that will mean that your video quality is not going to be the best by any stretch of the limits. Intel's video is basic, so that means no ultra high settings on games. But that's just something to keep in mind. Power supply. How big of a power supply do you need to run everything smoothly? You don't want to have one that's barely putting out enough to run all your stuff. You'll tear your stuff up very quick that way. And it's going to be working so hard to put out all this juice to all your devices. It's best to be over a little bit, but you don't want to be ridiculously over. Saying that, I usually buy a 1,000-watt power supply, or at least a 850 for the stuff that I build. It's also so I can expand, I can upgrade, I can get another video card, I can get 2 more video cards and not need to go out and buy another whole power supply to run this thing. So it's kind of thinking ahead. But 1,000 watts is a good round number. If you're building everything that I have on my list, It's probably a little over. I could probably do with a 850, but hey, anyway, especially if you catch a good one on sale. Um, are you going to air cool it, or are you going to water cool it? Are you going to do the full water cooling with tubes running out the back, so your case have to have holes for the tubing to run through, or is it going to be inside? Do you have enough space in your case for one of these huge water containers, coolant devices, or are you going to do an all-in-one that is a closed loop? I'll show you, because that's usually what I do. They seem to work just fine. Which has a fan. What size fan do you need on that cooler? Or are you just going to get a fan CPU cooler? We're talking about mainly cooling the CPU that gets the hottest. You don't take care of that, your machine's not going to last it long at all, no matter how good it is. So if you go cheap on that, I don't recommend going cheap on that at all. But that's just air or water cool. So that makes a difference in what kind of case you buy. You know, what's the next one? A DVD-ROM. Do you need a DVD-ROM? Do you have programs that you must have that are old, that are on DVD that you can't get anymore, that you want to use? Or you just download everything, it's online, you can get it, you don't have to worry about it, and then you don't need one. And the last thing is that I have on my list is for the video card. Is your video card overkill? Are you buying something that you really don't need? And this is kind of hard because everybody wants the biggest and baddest, but unless you're rich, you're never going to get the biggest and baddest unless you save up for months and months, and by the time you save up and get it, they'll be out with something else, and it won't be biggest and baddest anymore. But most monitors, basic monitors, I have 3. They all do 1,000. They only go up to 1080p. They're not 4K monitors. They're not curved monitors. They're just 27-inch monitors. Well, 127 and 224s. But video cards can go up to 4,000, 4K resolutions. They can do HDR. If the game does it, the video card does it, and your monitor does it. These monitors don't do HDR. Most that come out don't. And you'll be paying a lot of money for ones that do. But what I'm hooking this one up to, that I'm about to show y'all, is going to go plug into a 50-inch HDR10 4K TV. So it needs to be able to support all that. But if you don't, you may not need the $600 video card. You may not even need the $300 video card. So you have to keep all that in mind. What are you actually going to plug this thing into? You want all the power and the core clock, higher speeds, so you get all the better frames. But as far as picture quality goes, it's not going to make a bit of difference because you're only doing 1080p. So those are just some things to keep in mind. Now let's go on and see what we got in our wish list for Ava. All right. See, there's my motherboard. Here's some fans. I'll go over why I have these in here in just a second. There's my case, my video card, some memory. I'll go over just a second why there's 2. And this is not even a top-of-the-line monitor. It's actually kind of old now, but it was just in here to remind me that one day I might want to get one. Some hard drives, why I have 2. We'll go over that. A microphone for gaming and streaming. I wasn't sure which one I wanted. We'll see if one of them goes on sale. There's my power supply. Yep, 1,000 watts, 109. My CPU. Like I said, I'm doing an all AMD build this time. I also try to get as many Corsair parts as possible. For this one's going to be kind of a flashy case for GameKillerAva. And of course, a webcam. Can't stream without a webcam. And there's my all-in-one coolant. We'll go over that. All right. So what I typically buy first is, of course, whatever's on sale. But I try to get my case. So I see my case. I know how, I can see how things are going to fit once they start coming in. I can see how many fans I'm going to need. For this case, I'm going to scroll down to show you the things that it can do. See, it can look like this, and that's that water cooling, inside water cooling. They used to have it where it ran outside, but space and all that. I'm going to take out the fans that come with it, and I'm going to put in these Corsair fans. And with the IQ, I can make it do all kind of cool stuff. Just, you know, different lighting patterns, stuff like that. I'm going to put all these in there. I'm going to put the three 120s. It'll only hold two 140s or three 120s going up the front. So I'm going to put 3 on that. And then it holds a 140 in back. So I'm going to put one 140 there. And I'm going to put either 2 or 3 across the top. I haven't decided yet. See, I mean, I still have room to change it up a little bit if I want 2 or 3 140s going across the top. Then I typically try to get the motherboard. So when I start getting other parts, I can make sure they fit, but I can't turn it on until you get the power supply. But if anything goes on sale, you know, especially one of your higher priced items, go ahead and grab it. You know, set it over in its little corner till it's ready to go. And here's the RAM. Notice the difference in price. This is DDR4 3200, and this is DDR4 3600. The 3600, according to my motherboard specs, is the most that it can hold overclocked comfortably. But you have to have a processor that can do it. We'll get down to that in just a second. But you have to have a processor that can allow your RAM to be overclocked. You can't get a crappy processor and really good RAM and expect it to be overclocked. It just won't happen with a XMP profile. I believe that's what it's called. So this one would be just fine. But this is the highest that it can go. So if I can ever catch this on sale for under $200, I'd probably get it. But if not, this is actually the kind of RAM that I have in this computer right now. And I've never had a problem with it. Everything flows smoothly. But, you know, it's one of those techie, geeky things. If you can afford it, get it. If you can't, then this is what you get. The 2 hard drives here. One is a 1 terabyte and one is a 500 gigabyte. Of course, this is double the space, and that's why it's more expensive. I'm going to get a 1 terabyte for my C drive to put Windows on, and I thought about getting a 500 gigabyte to put just my games on. And see, this is where you have to make sure you can do this. My motherboard comes with 2 M2 slots, one here and one here. This one can actually hold one of the newer, longer ones, but they didn't have hardly any selection for those yet because it's so brand new. So that's something you have to make sure your board can do. And of course, a good microphone. If you plan on streaming, you plan on recording, having good quality sound is very important. You don't want it to be all scratchy and poppy and fading in and out. And Blue is a safe bet. I've done all kind of research about them. They're good for amateur beginners all the way up to pros. And this comes with an extra headset, which I already have a Logitech headset that I love. This way, so Ava will have one in case we need to for whatever reason. And it comes with a pop filter. And probably what I'll do is, I don't have it in here right now. This that I found out reading some reviews from Blue microphones, that Their boom arm is the only one that really fits the threading for these microphones. And this thing is $99 by itself. So I'm thinking one day, because I really do want an arm, so it comes down and be, you know, right here or something like that. But right now it'll be sitting down right in front of me. So one day I'll have, like, you know, a microphone right here. Hey, but it won't pick up a lot of the game sound coming from my speakers, because I've found that I really don't like wearing headphones. That I like to have the sound coming at me from all directions. But when you're trying to record, or if you're playing a game with your buddies, they can hear my game going on, everything that's being said on my screen, and it kind of causes this huge loop, and so that's very annoying. And uh, it's a cardioid. It has all kind of different functions where it only picks up volume coming from this direction and not back here. But I'll probably come back and get the arm and maybe the shock mount separate later as add-on. And here's my power supply, 1,000 watt right now. I haven't got to the video card yet, but it's modular, which means that you can only plug in what you need. You don't have all these extra cables just laying around. And I got this one specifically because there's so many times where, like, fans only cut on when they're needed, when it gets really hot. But sometimes, like, I had a power supply one time and I never saw the fan cut on, and I didn't know if it worked or not. But this way will tell me I can hit this button right here. Well, you see that where it says fan test. And it'll just spin up the fan, and I'll feel better knowing that the thing actually works. So that might be more for me right there, just through past experience. And of course, it does the Corsair link that can keep up with all its stats as well. Um, yeah, and our processor. Like I said, I'm doing a AMD build, and I will show you. Let's see, I knew I wanted the new Ryzen series. Threadrippers are pretty pricey. I'll show you real quick. Like, see, that's probably the cheapest one they got. 8 core, 16 threads at 3.8, and it doesn't say anything about overclocking. It's a first gen. They have second gens out now. That 4.2, that would be bad to the bone. Oh well, the base score is what you look at. That's a 3. That's a 3.5. 3.5. But as you can see, the good ones get kind of expensive. But I went with the Ryzen 7. And out of these, see, 8 core 3.2, 8 core 3.7 with a max 4.3, 3.4 with a 3.8, 3.6 with a 4.0. So this one has the highest base score with the highest max score for 309. So that's why I went with that one. And then to keep this monster cool, this is my all-in-one CPU cooler. And see, here's another thing that I thought about. I thought about taking these fans off and putting on some of those lighted Corsair ones, those RGB Corsair fans. And I figured out where I'm going to put this thing. I'm going to do it just like it has it in the video or in the pictures in the case setting. See, I knew I was going to replace all these, so I didn't go ahead and get the ones that said it was RGB because I didn't want their fans. So I knew I was going to put mine in it, so that's why I just went ahead and bought this. Um, See, this comes with two, I've already read it, comes with two USB 2 in the front and two USB 3s in the front. So that's good. I wish it had a USB-C up there, but it don't. But let's see if we can find a side picture. See how this is mounted right here? That's the way I want to mount the other one. So that's why I want the colors, because it can go up and down like ping pong, bing, 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 bing. And I have it go all the way across and come back. So it's just things through experience and having to do this many times that I kind of decided that I wanted to do. I want it to be pretty, I want it to be flashy, but I want it to be bad to the bone too. So that's why I got, and it's a really good water cooler. Keep your machine really cool. Um, and of course, the streaming webcam. This is a good one for streaming. It's kind of made for it. 60 frames per second. I think it comes I forgot to mention this about the motherboard, but motherboard and this come with free license to XSplit, which is what you use to stream your videos, record videos like OBS. It's free, but XSplit works just fine. It has a free version, but you can of course do more with the paid version. But you get a free 6 months with this one, and I get another one with my motherboard, and I believe it also comes with the tri-def, which it means if you don't have a green screen behind you, it'll do its best to try and make it look like a green screen, so you don't see all the tools and everything behind me. So I can't wait for that as well. So that's pretty much everything in here. And when all these come in, oh, the video card. See, I did have two video cards here. I did have two video cards here, but they came out with a a 590, 580 was the latest, and I'm going to hold off trying to get this to see if Gigabyte throws one into the mix. Because there wasn't that many to choose from. Um, I originally had a 580 there, but now they have a 590, and there's just not that many to choose from. Like, I would really like to see a Gigabyte and compare it. And if it's better, great. And if not, then we stick with this one. But the reason why I'm sticking with XFX is because it actually says something about HDR in their ad and on their page. Most of them don't say anything about it. But this one actually does. As soon as I get to it. It's in here somewhere. Yeah, premium HDR. And you can so tell in games that I've played, even on my PlayStation 4, like Spider-Man and the new Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that the color is just magnificent. So the better I can get with that, the better, happier I'll be. Because like I said, I'm going to hook it up to the big TV. So that's why this card is stuck out. But the crazy thing is the others will do 8K resolution, like up to 7,000 something. But this one only does 4K. But that's all I got. So there was no reason to pay extra for an 8K capable video card. I just bought this other TV, and I don't plan on running out and buying some new TV in the near or far out future anytime soon. So this is all I need. So that's just one of those little things to keep in mind for not overbuying or getting some paying for stuff that you don't need. So there's that. I'll go through just show you the list. This is all the basic stuff. Well, you will need a keyboard and mouse. I guess I could put that in here, but I've already bought it. I already bought the Corsair K95, I believe it is, Platinum keyboard and their new RGB mouse and the mouse pad, which is just awesome. It lights up the whole room. So I didn't have that in here. And I'm going to be doing a review of that soon, so be sure and subscribe and hit that bell. Alright, so that's pretty much it. I can't wait for these parts to start coming in and doing mini unboxing reviews of each of the parts, and maybe when enough parts get here I'll have a small or a short medium length video of putting the stuff in the case once I get enough parts to actually put in there. I'm looking forward to it. I know she's going to be so excited, so shh, don't tell her. We'll try and keep it a secret. Note, she's grounded from YouTube. But alright guys, be sure and subscribe. We're on that race to 1,000 subscribers. We can't monetize anything till we get to 1,000. And we're starting off the new year with new videos. I can't wait for Resident Evil 2 to come out. The remastered version, I've pre-ordered it. I'm so ready to go. We'll be streaming it on Twitch and putting recorded videos of what we streamed on YouTube. Ava's got some more games coming out. Be sure and go check out GameKillerAva's world. There's not much on it right now, but please subscribe to it and hit the bell, because there's going to be more videos for that on her channel coming out. Just doing some crazy stuff and gameplay, especially once she gets this new beast of a machine. So subscribe, please give it a thumbs up. I hope everybody had a very Merry Christmas and has a Happy New Year. Until the next time, this is Game Killer Daddy saying peace and God bless.